Oh Canada, it has been a while, but finally we are back for the latest round of the GP4 Offline Championship 2018 season. We're here for the Canadian Grand Prix at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal, the circuit located on the man-made island of Ile Notre Dame, which is the heart of the St. Lawrence River, the 4th of 6 street circuits that are on the GP4 OC calendar, and the 5th of 9 tracks that have been, I should say, on the OC calendar every season since it started. Now, previous winners here have included Nicolas Gal, who won here last year, and Jamie McKenzie, who has won here the previous 2 years. So it's going to be very interesting to see if, McKenzie I don't think is going to be winning this year, as he's in the Renault. Nicolas Gal has a possibility, but you never know, really. Because around the track, it's quite a short circuit. The lap record set last year by Nicolas Gal, as a matter of fact, of 111.6, 70 laps, circuit length of 4.361 kilometers, 14 corners, a very old school layout here at Montreal, but definitely a circuit that I like, and I think a lot of the drivers like it as well. The tyres we're using, I believe for the first time this season, is the Hypersoft tyres at long last, which they've come out of the blankets finally. And the driver of the day from last time out taking a podium, second place I might add, is Kirosima de Rossa, very well deserved for him. So anyway, here is the starting grid for the Canadian Grand Prix, and on the front row it is Franco Lopez taking pole position for Mercedes ahead of Amar Carr, the previous winner at Monaco, in second. On the second row, Joseph Willis third for Ferrari, and Florian Volker fourth for Mercedes. That is row 2. Row 3 of the grid, we have the 2 Red Bulls of Joel Hutter 5th and Nicolas Gal in 6th. Gal 4/10 off his teammate Hutter in qualifying. McKenzie, a very impressive qualifying by him in what is essentially his home race, is 7th position with Paulino Tomaselli, very impressive in 8th. Gabriel Gomez 9th for Sauber, and Tiravi now Tiran 10th for Force India. So generally a very good qualifying by the Saubers. 11th place is Laura Chong, 12th place is George Roque for Haas. That is row 6 of the grid. Row 7 of the grid, we have Evan Byrne for Renault, and Roland Moitian for Force India, 13th and 14th positions. On the 8th row of the grid, Kirosima de Rossa, driver of the day, and second place last time at Monaco, 15th, and Felix Sontag in 16th position. Row 9 of the grid, we have the 2 Italians, or the 2 Gambas, I should say, the 2 cousins, Franco Gamba 17th, and Roberto Gamba 18th. On row 10 of the grid, we have Lean Campana for Williams and Enes Barachki for Toro Rosso. And on the last row of the grid, we have the 2 Manners of Etienne Jones and Maxime Tidkov. So there we go. That is the grid for the Canadian Grand Prix. Now we're going to have take a look at the weather. And it will be a dry race, 0% chance of rain. It will be a sunny race too. So let's get this show on the road. It has been a while. It's honestly felt like an eternity since we had the last race. But anyway, that doesn't matter now. We're now on the grid for the Canadian Grand Prix. And who's going to get the jump into the first corner? It is a short run down. Will Lopez keep the lead, or will Carr take it into the first corner? As we have now 5 lights that are now on. And we're underway, and it looks like Lopez has made a pretty decent start, and he should take the lead into turn 1, unless Carr can get around the outside, which he can't. So Lopez keeps the lead from Carr, so we head through. Volker ahead of Willows in 3rd as we look through the rest of the field. Can they all get through the first corners safely is the big question. So far it looks like I think they can. But at the moment, Lopez leading ahead of Carr in 2nd, Volker in 3rd, and Willows in 4th. That is the top 4. And Willows already trying to get past Volker here, and he's going to try and make the move into the chicane. No, he can't. He's never going to make it there. Tomaselli's actually made a good start in the 6th position. As we look through the rest of the order, there's Gamba, Moichin, Sontag, Roberto Gamba, Campana, Jones, Parachki, Tidkov. As we look, and so far at the moment, it's all rosy at the front and everywhere. To be fair, there is no, so far, no chaos yet. There's no collisions, but Willows all over the back of Volker. Tomaselli actually, who's having a good start of this race, all over the back of Gal, and actually Hutter's dropped down to 7th, so he's not made a good start. But Tomaselli is who's made a good start, and all over the back of Gal, so we're now heading on to the back straight, heading towards the final chicane, heading towards, of course, the infamous Wall of Champions. Willows in the slipstream of Volker. Will he try and make a move? Volker moves to the right to prevent him from doing so, but he'll get a bad run through the chicane. We have a side-by-side back there between George Roque and Gomez. Roque makes it through up into ninth. That's a good start for him. Gomez gets a terrible run off the corner. Tomaselli trying to get past Gal coming into turn 1. He's never going to do it there. Clearly not around the outside. Now here we are looking at Gomez side-by-side with the Renault, and he's lost another position. And oh, there's contact. He gets hit by by De Rossa behind in the McLaren. But that was because obviously Gomez got overtaken by Roque, got a terrible run off the corner, allowed the Renault of McKenzie to make his way through down the outside and then for the inside for the next corner. And Roberto Gamba got a little bit too close and made contact with the back of Gomez, but fortunately no damage is done, so they can keep it clean. So far it's been a clean start, no collisions at all. Now here we are looking at De Rossa, who's on the back of Gabriel Gomez in the Salva / Alfa Romeo, whatever you want to call it. So far, Lopez actually at the front as well. And oh, there's been an accident, and Hutter is out. Joel Hutter is out of the race, and that is at the final chicane. I don't know what's happened to him, but he is out of this race, and so that's his race done and dusted. So what has happened to him? Did he have a collision? Did he have a problem? We know the pit entry and the pit exit here at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve can be very interesting indeed. It can make for some very, I'll say funny moments, interesting moments. But Hutter is out, so we're going to take a look and find out what has happened to him. So he was coming into the chicane. He was side by side with now Tiernan in the Force India. Did he make contact with him? No, he just made an error and then tried to get into the pits and went into the wall. Now Tiernan got past him and just went over the curb, lost his wing, and he was never going to... all the angles there were completely against him. It's never really going to work, and unfortunately for Hutter, a pretty embarrassing crash. And he's out of this race. So here we're looking on board from George Roque's point of view. As you can see, Hutter just take stage left, goes right to the left, and actually Roque takes advantage of that and actually goes past now Tiernan up into 7th place there. So Roque taking 2 places in one corner, like taking candy from baby. And so good move there by Roque. So he's made a good start to this race up into 7th position from what was 12th. Roque, who's probably definitely been outperformed, I'd say, by his teammate Gamba, who's definitely done very well this season. Now here is Roberto Gamba, who went across the curb there, lost a lot of momentum, being passed by the manner of Jones, and now we see the Toro Rosso going past him as well, of Enis Parachki, and now even Titcock going past him. So wow, Roberto Gamba lost several positions there. Now here we are looking, this is at Evan Byrne right now, running outside of the points, but as we swap to Franco Lopez, so far got a comfortable lead at the front of the field as he makes a little error there, Lopez. Getting a little bit out of shape. It doesn't necessarily need to be doing that because he's got a comfortable lead, although he will be pitting pretty soon, so it looks like he could be doing the 3-stop with that amount of fuel. It's probably why he's got so far ahead. The gap to Carr is 6 seconds, and then to Volker is about another 4 seconds. And actually, speaking of Lopez, in he comes to the pits, and so it's surely going to be a 3-stop. I don't know if necessarily a 3-stop is the best way to go around here, because I'd say it's not hard to overtake, but it's still a street circuit, and you don't really want to be dealing with traffic. But we'll see where Lopez comes out on the track after his stop. So he changes all 4 tyres, and he comes. He's down to 6th at the moment, so behind Tomaselli, probably behind Roque as well. So if he comes ahead of Roque, actually, I think that would be pretty good for Lopez, because that would mean that he would come out in clear air, but he's not. He's dropped down to 8th. He's dropped behind now Tiernan, although it's going to be close going out of the pits. So where's he going to come out? In 9th or 8th, is it? And ooh, that's close. Pit exit here is, we've seen a number of collisions over the year, but he just comes out ahead of Laura Chung. That was very, very close. And just imagine if Lopez had had a collision with Chung coming out of the pits. We've seen it several times before. You can see the Mercedes coming through there. Look how close it is. If Chung hadn't turned to the right, then she and Lopez would have been out of the race. But fortunately, Chung drove very well there to prevent a collision from happening. Now here is now Tiernan, who is on the back of Roque, but he's going to be pitting anyway. And of course there is Lopez behind, so now Tiernan's going to try and get past Roque here, which I don't think is going to be a good idea because you're going into the pits. He's going to try it anyway. Roque pushes him out wide, and then now Tiernan finally does go to the pits, although Roque does lock up because he got put off there by now Tiernan trying to overtake him when he didn't need to. Now he's got Lopez all over his chuff, heading towards turn 1. Lopez is going to try and make a move. Roque defends, moves to the left, doesn't allow him to get through. And here's we're looking at now Tiernan coming into the pits. Mackenzie not too far behind either. Of course, Mackenzie running Canadian nationality because he has dual Polish and Canadian nationality. So essentially this is his home race. And so as we look at now Tiernan coming out of the pits, and let's see where he comes out. He's going to come out right at the back actually, in, well, Stone dead last actually, in 21st position. But at least he'll have a bit of clear air in front of him. Now here is Lopez once again trying to get past Roque, failing. Coming through the chicane there, so this is not helping him. This is good news for Carr, who is chilling up front. He's got a comfortable gap. As we look at De Rosa, there's Gamba, there's Byrne, there's Moitin, there's Sontag, Campana, Jones, Parachki. Looking at all the cars. Now here's now Tiernan trying to get past Roberto Gamba, heading in towards the final chicane, turns 13 and 14. He's on the inside, and he's through, and Roberto Gamba makes a big lock up and loses an absolute ton of time. So Roberto Gamba, it's a pretty horrible race at this moment in time. Here we are looking at Paolino Tomaselli, who's coming into the pits, and he's had a very good race so far. I don't know, did I just see Roque was ahead of, or still ahead I should say, of Lopez? Didn't quite see, just turned off. I believe he is actually. No, Roke still is ahead of Lopez, who still hasn't got past. So particularly with these bigger cars, or I should say wider cars, not as easy to overtake. I mean, this track, there are a few overtaking spots, but obviously Lopez finding it very difficult indeed. And here we are looking at Paulino Tomaselli coming out of the pits, and there's Gomez, his teammate, under pressure from the McLaren behind him. And here we are looking at De Rosa, who's once again trying to get past Gomez into turn 1, and he can't quite make it stick, and he's pitting this lap, as a matter of fact. As we're looking through the rest of the order, I think that was now trying to make a move into the first corner. Now here is Willows actually on the back of Volker, so Volker's struggling for pace. Don't know how much his fuel is compared to Willows, but Willows will be pitting soon. I think Volker, having just briefly seen it, had a little bit more fuel than what Willows did, but we'll see as they're coming onto the back straight now. Lopez, who still hasn't got past Roke, and he's been stuck behind him for quite a few laps now. It must be about like 7 or 8 laps, I think he's been stuck behind him. Still hasn't managed to get by. He's in the slipstream of the Haas, and he's now going to try and surely make a move into the chicane. He's in the slipstream. He's going to try and make a move to the right. Is he? I don't know if he's quite close enough. Roke defends, moves to the right, and moves again. And Lopez still can't get through. He really is struggling, and this is exactly what Lopez didn't want. If he was ahead of Roke, he'd be fine, because he'd be in clear air and wouldn't have to worry about him. But because he's not, he's unable to get past. Roke really defending very well from Lopez at this moment in time. This is the battle for P5, and actually Gal is actually on the back of Willows as well, as he's stuck behind Volker. The gap actually, Volker to car, is 8 seconds at this moment in time. Laura Chong is in the pits for her first stop, and so is De Rosa. So Chong comes out of the pits, and she'll come out, sorry, just outside of the top 10. Here we are looking at Tomaselli on the back of Jay McKenzie. This is the battle for P7. Tomaselli, I think, having already made his stop so far. And as I said, he's had a good race, as we look at him coming onto the back of McKenzie. But McKenzie in front of his home fans will not want to let him through. And Tomaselli's going to try and make a move to the left. It's not going to work, because it's a right to left chicane. So he sticks behind him, and he'll probably try on the back straight. Now, into the pits comes Joseph Willows. Now, he was on the back of Volker. He's obviously going to try the undercut on the German to see if he can get ahead of him and make it a Ferrari 1-2, of course, because at the moment, Carr is leading, and Lopez, who is still stuck behind Roke, it's not going to do him any favours. So I think Carr, you would say, is probably the favourite to come out ahead, lead this race, but of course, well, actually, I was about to say, but of course Lopez is on a 3-stopper. But to be honest, being on the 3-stopper and being stuck in traffic is actually, he won't be now, but it might be a little bit too late, because Roke is finally in the pits, and Lopez, what's the gap? 11 seconds, 8, 1, about 20 seconds. So, I don't know, that could be close, actually. But Roke comes out of the pits, well, so does Willows. He comes out in 6th behind Tomaselli, who technically I think actually is ahead of Willows, having pitted already. But Roke comes out in, it looks like, in 7th position. So Roke having a pretty solid race so far, probably his best of the season. Avoided trouble, well, made a great start and has avoided trouble so far. Here's Franco Gamba. We're looking at his teammate further down, just inside the points. McKenzie comes out actually behind Tomaselli, not Tomaselli, now Turin, I think, in 16th position. So far, only one retirement from this race, and that being, of course, Joel Hutter. Who of course had that, went over the curb and lost his wing and tried to go into the pits, and unfortunately that didn't work. Now here we are looking at, this is Nicolas Gau coming towards the turn 1, and he's going to be pitting this lap, so he's obviously going to try the undercut on Volker as well. So Volker might be going for the 1 stop, although he's only got probably maybe a couple laps more to go before he pits as well. So Volker will come out obviously behind Lopez, but he'll be much quicker than Lopez, because he's going to be stuck. Well, he was stuck behind Roke for so long, pretty much until Roke made his stop. So for at least 10 laps, he was stuck behind, which he was not going to be happy with at all. And as we look through and see Gal, who on lap 24 of this race has had a fairly solid race, although Hutter, I mean, you could say probably Hutter maybe was outperforming him in this race, maybe. Well, not in this race, I should say, but over the season, so far, you could say Hutter has outperformed Gao, and I mean, no one was really expecting it, to be honest. Well, no one was expecting Hutter to be in the seat, to be brutally honest, but he is. And as we look at Titkoff, who is coming into the pits as the manor goes out, and Titkoff comes in, but unfortunately he's got an issue, I think, so the crew go away, and is that going to be the crew going to hopefully come out for Titkoff, or is that going to be his race over? As we look at Gal coming into the pits, and the crew do not seem to be coming for Titkoff, so that might be his race over, I think. Jones, fortunately, is still going, but for both manners, that could be curtains for them. Now Gal comes out of the pits, and he will come out, come up behind Lopez, and I imagine behind Volker. Well, he might actually come out ahead, but I don't know. Willers has gone by, where are they? So Jones came out of the pits. I don't know if he had a problem. Well, Titkoff, I think, was the one who, what was his fuel? 3.7, so I've no idea what was going on there at Manor, but there's problems afoot, and unfortunately for Titkoff, his race looks to be over. And here we are looking at Roland Moitin, who is trying to go past Evan Byrne, who moves to the right. Can't make a stick, although Byrne actually is pitting, so Moitin is finally released from the Irishman. And so he goes across the line to complete lap 26 of this race. Here we are looking at Franco Gamba, who's been stuck behind Gabriel Gomez for quite a few laps. And here we are looking at Volker, who's still going, and he's probably going to be pitting in maybe 2-3 laps time, I'd say. So look at Titkoff still there on his own, but Parachki's in the pits as well, and he comes out of the pits. There's a car in front of him, I'm pretty sure that was Byrne, actually, as Carr is lapping them. So at the moment, Armar Carr leading this race, and so far it's going pretty swimmingly for him. He comes in for another stop. So Volker, was that Volker in second? Yeah, so that being held up by Roke really affected Lopez really badly, so he dropped behind his teammate as well as Carr. I knew he would drop behind Carr, but I didn't realise he'd drop actually behind his teammate. That's how badly, I suppose you could say, he's being held up by Roke, but still, he couldn't overtake him, so it's kind of, I suppose you could say, his own fault, really. But as we look at Carr coming out of the pits, and he's going to come out in, looks like, actually, will he come out ahead of Lopez? No, he won't, and I think he'll come out behind Tomaselli as well. He'll come out ahead of his teammate Willers, who you just see in the background coming across the line, and Carr will come out behind Tomaselli, which is not exactly good. And particularly for Franco Lopez, he can now hold Carr up. He can return the favour, I guess, because I suppose he's not in a favourable position. As we look at Volker actually coming into the pits for his first stop of the race, as he's coming through towards the hairpin. So he's finally going to come in. So he's been going the longest. It's definitely not going to be the one stop, but I would imagine it will be the two stop. Well, if he tries the one stop from here, then I just doubt he's going to be able to win this race, because his tyres are going to be so dead at the end. But I really don't think he's going to try it. Now here's Tomaselli, who is actually attacking Lopez in the Mercedes. That is a sentence you would not expect to hear. An Alfa Romeo / Sauber attacking a Mercedes. The thing is, for Carr, of course, he is there as well, and Carr wants to get past both of these two pretty quickly at this moment in time. But here's Tomaselli in the slipstream of Lopez, just about keeping up with him. Surely he's not going to make a move into the chicane. Lopez actually having to move to the right to defend, as we see Volker in the pits, and Lopez didn't exactly get a great run out of that chicane. I wonder if Tomaselli will try and make a move. He's going to try and go to the outside, is he? It's not going to work, so he has to stay behind him into the first corner. So at the moment, Lopez is leading this race. Tomaselli is in second position. Volker, having pitted, is going to come out, it looks like, in P5 or 6. Gal just went past there, but I think Volker might come out ahead of him. And the answer is yes, Gal does stay ahead of Volker, so that's not exactly good for him either. Here is now Turin on the back of his teammate Roland Moitin. This is the battle for 10th position, as now Turin trying to make a move into the final chicane. He's just about squeezing alongside, but he can't make it stick, and of course they're stuck behind Gabriel Gomez, who Franco Gamba was stuck behind for quite a few laps as well. And there's a Haas coming in the pits. Actually, that's Franco Gamba, I should say, as a matter of fact, who's coming in the pits, probably to try and jump Gabriel Gomez, who's been going out for so long and has been holding everyone up. And the two McLarens are fighting over each other down the order, as Lean Campana tries a move on Enis Barachki coming through the final chicane. I think Campana is going to make the move stick. He's swapped and gone round past the Macedonian driver. So great move there by Lean Campana. Unfortunately, Enis Barachki has been stuck at the back of the field for pretty much the whole race. He's not had a particularly good result, but at this moment in time, this is the battle for the lead. Lopez, Tomaselli and Carr. Tomaselli, who's actually not pitted yet, neither is Lopez, but actually Tomaselli is pitting this lap. I thought he had pitted already, actually, but he has not. So it's actually amazing, to be honest, kind of think of it. If he's not pitted already, Tomaselli, how he's kept the pace with these guys. So that's pretty impressive. Definitely his best performance of the season for him, and he's still keeping up with Lopez, who pitted, who has pitted. So it's quite amazing when you think about it. And Carr, I don't think, Carr has pitted, sorry, but it's amazing when you think about it, how he's kept up with Lopez. So fair play as we're looking at Tomaselli, who is all over the back of Lopez, but well, Lopez has pitted. I keep getting confused. Lopez has pitted, but he pitted about, I think it was lap 11, lap 12, I think, wasn't it? So, but still, Lopez on fresher tyres than Tomaselli. He can't get away, and Tomaselli, fair play to him. You could say he is in a battle for the podium, I guess you could probably say, as he's about to come into the pits for his first stop of the race. So I'm very interested to see where he comes out in the order. He's on the slipstream of Lopez. Look at the speed he's got. But there's no point in trying to overtake him because Lopez is going to defend, and Tomaselli is going to go into the pits, which he does right now. So finally Lopez has got, you would think the slower car off his back, but now of course he's got a faster car on his back, that being our car. And so we look at Tomaselli coming into the pits for his first stop of the race. Most likely, I think, be a 2. Can't surely be a 1 stop. As he comes in, and nope, it's not going to be a 1 stop. So changes all 4 tyres, putting the fuel in, and away he goes. So out of the pits he comes, and he's going to come actually behind Roke. I think he might. So come up behind Roke, so Tomaselli will not particularly want to be held up behind Roke for too long, although he has got a bit of a gap. So Tomaselli will have plenty of clear air. Here is once again the battle for the lead of this race. So at the moment, Lopez is holding up Carr, so he's doing what I suppose he wanted to do back to Carr. So at the moment it is working. So the tables, you could say, are turning. And of course the interesting thing is, as Gomez went very wide there, coming through the hairpin, almost went into the wall. As here is Florian Volker going past the Red Bull of Gal coming into the chicane, and that's because Gal went over the curb, and then Volker had a much better run, swapped to the inside, and then said thank you very much, and taking the position. That was taking 5th position. Like I said, Lopez returning the favour to Carr, who is obviously pitting once more before the end. I think Lopez, I don't know how much longer he's going, but Carr is definitely going longer than him. So he's on the fresher tyres, is Amar Carr. He's going to try and go past Lopez. Is he? Nope, he's going to move, and now Lopez is going to try and defend into the chicane, which he does. Carr's still unable to get through, and the thing is, obviously, Willows is close behind, and Volker's not that far behind either. Oh, and Gomez is out. Gabriel Gomez is out of this race. And Gabriel Gomez is out of this race, and I don't know what's happened to him. It looks to be maybe a technical problem. I mean, I suppose he may have crashed. I'm not sure, but we'll find out. So that is his race over at about the halfway point, and it was a loose wheel, so it was, in fact, a mechanical problem. Gomez has been essentially the head of many trains in this race that have derailed, and unfortunately for him, the carriage has come apart, and so he is out of this race, and he pulls off just coming through the fast right-hander there, and yep, there we go. His race is done and dusted, so there we are. That is the 3rd retirement of the race, I guess you could say. Here is Carr once again on the back of Lopez, doing a great job to defend from Carr. Now the thing is, for Willows, he's now got the other Mercedes behind him. How the tables have turned. So Volker all over the back, he's trying to make a move on Willows. Carr making a move on Lopez, and Carr failing to get past Lopez. Willows trying to go through, and he goes actually wide over the curves, and Volker might actually take the position now, and he's through, and he takes what is now 3rd position. So I wonder if Volker's going to go after Carr and Lopez out front. And as we look at Volker coming through, and you can see coming into the chicane, he tried to make him on the inside, and then Willows went wide over the curves. He was alongside Volker, and unfortunately just you can't go to a side through the final chicane. It doesn't work. It didn't work, and unfortunately fortunately for Willows, he's lost the position. Volker takes 3rd, and now we'll see if he can go after the 2 cars in front of him. At the moment in time, it doesn't look like he is. Carr all over the back of Lopez, really struggling to get past. Lopez is pitting very soon, I imagine. When he pits, he's going to go to the end. If he has to pit again after this, I think it'd be a huge mistake. So I would imagine his next stop is going to be the final one, as there is a pit call as well for someone, I think behind Tomaselli, I believe it was. And Lopez gets a very awkward run through the chicane. That's going to give Carr an opportunity coming into the first corner. And he's going to try and make a move through the outside. It's not quite going to work. Oh, very close. Very, very close. And no damage done, fortunately, but who knows how this is going to go. But at this moment in time, Lopez doing his best to return the favour. Lopez, who was held up by Roke for 10 laps, now been holding up Carr for probably about that, I'd say, as well. Volker, you can see, just hanging there in the background, waiting for something to happen. Tomaselli is close up to the back of Roke in the battle for 6th position. And looking through the rest of the order, Byrne way down the field there behind the manner of Jones. Jones behind Sontag. See Volker is just ever so slightly closing up. Just like a snake just coming in there. You can see he's definitely closing up to these guys because Lopez is really holding up Carr a lot now. He just can't get past. He's trying it into the hairpin car. He can't do it there. And he's almost pushing Lopez round the hairpin. And didn't get a great run off the corner. And Volker, he's not quite close enough to make the move. But something is going to blow. The bubble is going to burst. Well, the question is when. But at this moment in time, you can see actually the top 5 all on the back straight there. So that is quite amazing. That's how close the field is. But Roke, who is 12 seconds off in 6th position, the best of the rest at this moment in time. And Tomaselli is 31 seconds ahead of Chung as well. So they've got a pit stop ahead of the rest of the pack. So they're pretty secure, Roke and Tomaselli. Here is, this is Franco Gamba trying to get past Byrne, coming into the hairpin. And as we look coming onto the back straight, I'm not sure he's going to be close enough. He didn't get a good run off the corner, so I don't think he's going to quite overtake Byrne coming into the chicane. Looking at Lopez, who still is holding up. And actually, I think Lopez is coming in now as Carr was pushing him. And oh, he's in the wall! And Franco Lopez is in the wall, and he's out of this race. And just as he was pitting as well, he has crumbled under pressure, and Franco Lopez is out. And that's exactly the break that Carr needs, well, the rest of the top 4 need. So now it's a battle between Carr, Volker, Willows, and Gal. And Lopez is out. He was pitting on this lap, and unfortunately pushed himself a bit too hard, trying to defend from Amar Carr, and he has paid the price, and he is out of this race, and the implications this could have for the championship as well, and particularly with Carr leading. I think with Carr leading, if he wins this, I'm pretty sure he will take the lead of the championship standings. You can see Lopez just went way too wide coming through the hairpin there, and actually Carr actually did hit the debris, or did hit the wheel from Lopez's car. I'm actually surprised he didn't get damaged, to be honest. I mean, he hit it at a fair whack, but we'll see on board from Carr coming into the hairpin. You can see Lopez defending, got a little bit wide, and then Carr almost nearly pushing him into the wall. And he does hit the wheel, and fortunately for Carr, he doesn't get damaged. He is a lucky man. Now this is the battle for what is a legitimate out of a P5. Tomaselli all over the back of Roke, can't get past him. As called up to Roke, but he can't get past. I mean, both Hasses are being massive trains today. Obviously Tomaselli's teammate Gomez was a train for a while. And unfortunately that train derailed, but can it derail for him? And oh no, Laura Chung is out! Laura Chung has an issue, and she is out of this race, and she is pulled off, and that is a very awkward position. And oh no, that's not good. That's really an awkward position. But Laura Chung, who was running inside the points, and was having a fairly solid race, just not been her season, but it's not really been Toro Rosso's season, to be honest. And she is out of the race with a puncture. And very sad for Laura Chung, who was running in 7th and was going to be pitting once more. She's having a very solid race, as I said already, and unfortunately it has all come crashing down. So there we go. You see Chung just pulling off there to the side, and unfortunately the car just starting to drift into the middle of the circuit, and the driver is having to move to the left to avoid her. So that is her race over on lap 42, gutting for her. And as I said, she'd had a very good race, but Toro Rosso just not having a particularly great season. Now here is Miguel Escal, who, as you can see, going past and with a wheel there from Chung's car. Now here is Tomaselli, who's all over the back of Roke, still can't get past him. And this is a legitimate battle for P5. Now here we are looking, this is a big gaggle of cars. This is for a battle just outside of the points. This is Franco Gamba behind Evan Byrne, the Irishman, and Gamba going to go past Byrne, it looks like, coming into the chicane. I think he's just about alongside. Well, he is alongside now. And Gamba's going to make the move stick, is he? Yep. And he's through on Byrne, who gets a little bit out of shape, and now almost runs into the back of him, coming through the chicane there. And of course, now they've got traffic. Car's got to deal with all these cars that he's got a lap. He now goes past the Toro Rosso of Parachki, goes around the outside of turn 1 there. Now Turin is on the back of Byrne, but he's got he's got Carl. He's got a fast car that he needs to let past him. But actually, it's not in fact Amar car. It's the Mercedes of that's Franco Lopez, who's going to go past into the chicane. Is he? No, he's not quite close enough. He will on the front straight though, as they come through. But now Turin all over the back of Byrne. But Lopez is there, so Lopez will want to get through this traffic quickly if he wants to keep up with the car. But at this moment in time, it's looking pretty good for him. And as we see the car coming through, Roberto Gamba battling side by side with Roland Moichin. That is for 16th position. Definitely wouldn't have expected the Force Indias to be battling, I suppose, this low down the order, but they are. and as you look at Roberto Gamma coming through the chicane, he's got a better run, and actually Moichin, I think, made a little mistake coming through the final chicane there. He's lucky he didn't go into the wall, he just about did. And Roberto Gamma just snuck through there on the inside, and Moichin lost the position there, so he wasn't having a bad race per se, but he's just been stuck in traffic, and Moichin unfortunately just hasn't had a very good race himself. Now here is Volker, who is finally lapping. Oh, the traffic has now turned and tried to sneak through along with Volker, but he failed. And let's have a look at it again. So he was right behind Volker coming out of the hairpin there, and he tried to sneak through, but Byrne was like, no way, not today, sunshine. You can see, look at him just moving over at the last minute, not allowing now Turner to get through there. That would have been a great move, but Byrne, he was alert and didn't let him through. Now into the pits, of course, was Amar Kar, who is going to make his, I believe, his final stop of the race. Yes, lap 51, so of course he'll make his final stop of the race. And here we are looking at Kar changing over tyres. He'll be going to the end. It's looking pretty good for him now, because Volker was struggling to deal with the traffic. So, well, I suppose as long as Kar himself doesn't have any traffic, then he should win this race. But you never know, so that we've still got 18 laps to go of this Canadian Grand Prix. Mackenzie's coming out of the pits, and this is not good. Oh no, and Mackenzie's out. Oh my word, his car has been completely destroyed. Moichin, I don't know if he got damaged. Oh, Willers is stuck, and Willers is stuck behind the car. Gall is through. He's moved on a second, but Willers is stuck behind Mackenzie's car, and the other car goes through, but Willers is stuck behind Mackenzie's car, which has got no wheels. There's a car that's got damage. I think that's Rogue who's hit the wing. He's got damage. Tomaselli finally goes through. He spent all that time stuck behind Rogue, and he's got an incredibly lucky break, but Willers is stuck behind Mackenzie, and that is going to eliminate any chance of a 1-2 for Ferrari today. Absolutely gutting for Joseph Willers, and unfortunately the pit exit, which I think I'm pretty sure that was the only incident we had in the race as well. And well, unfortunately for Willers, and unfortunately for Roke as well, he was running ahead of Tomaselli. He'd stayed ahead, and Tomaselli's finally got a lucky break and has got through. But you can see Willers just pushing Mackenzie along. He really can't get past the stricken car. I don't know if he's ever heard of the R word, which is the reverse on the car, but he still can't get past. He's pushing him down the track. And unfortunately for Willers, as I said, any chance of podium is now pretty much gone. He is out of getting the podium. And I wonder if he's down in 9th position. He might even not get any points at this point if he can't get past Mackenzie. He's now outside of the points as well. Look at all these cars, and oh, it's a big traffic jam. Parachki is stuck there. He just about squeezes through, but he's lost a position, and oh no, there's more cars stuck in this traffic jam. Gal's got through, and so has Carr, and so Willers has now been lapped, being stuck behind Mackenzie. The Haas there trying to come through. Tomaselli's got stuck as well, and he gets through, eventually pushes through, and so there's a Franco Gamba, the other Haas. But of course Roke's in the pits at last. Jones at the moment is running 8th, but I think he might be out of this race because of finally Willers. Finally he's got through, but he's all the way down to 50th position. Wow, you got to feel for him there, you really do. Now here we're looking at Mackenzie. This was the replay. He was coming out of the pits and he made contact with the back of I think it was it was Enis Parachki. Made contact and then just went into the wall. Car lifted up into the air, and into the wall he went, and right in front of the pack, almost, well, it was right in front of Roland Moichin, who actually did hit Mackenzie's car, and he actually got damaged as well, so Moichin had to go into the pits. And then unfortunately for Willers, he went the wrong side, and Gal, he got the lucky break. He managed to squeeze his way through. I think he did he get hit from anyone from behind? No, I think he just got through, and look at that. Car snuck through at exactly the right time, so that was very lucky. And unfortunately, speaking of lucky, that is not what Etienne Jones is going to have, and unfortunately, with Titkov's car stuck there, he is going to be out as well. So Jones, who was running in the points as well, gutting, he was having a fairly solid race, and through no fault of his own, he's going to get nothing. And the Ferrari coming out of the pits there, Volker coming out of the pits, I should say. This was De Rossa. Oh no, and De Rossa, who's hit Mackenzie, has hit his car, and so has Sontag as well, has hit the damaged car. And I thought they'd got rid of Mackenzie's car by now, but you see something coming through at a rate of knots. Fortunately, he didn't eliminate himself. But De Rossa, who was running inside the points, unfortunately is going to get absolutely nothing. So Mackenzie's car causing absolute havoc. And De Rossa thought he was past it, but he wasn't. And, wow, and he's still there, Mackenzie's car, still being moved away from the circuit. And oh no, and there's still cars getting damaged. Lean Campana, who's running in the points, now gets damaged as well. Volker has come out of the pits, and he is now leading this race. So Florian Volker has come out ahead of Amar Kar. So I think Kar, well, he wasn't really held up that much, I'd say, Kar, from that incident. Has now lost the lead to Florian Volker. So it looks like Volker might have snatched the victory from under Kar's nose here, it seems. But whew, what a dramatic end of the race. It hadn't been, I don't know, the race hadn't been thrilling, but that certainly spiced things up with what happened. So Kar now going past the lap traffic, but can he catch Volker in front? I'm not sure, because Volker is leading and on fresher tyres. So if he does, it'll be an unbelievable performance by Kar. And of course in third place is the Red Bull of Mingles Gal. I don't think Gal has to pit. I'm not sure if he does actually. And 10 laps. No, he does, I think, actually. I'm pretty sure Gal does have to pit. And yes, he will. So he won't be in third. So it could actually... And oh no, Byrne is out. And Evan Byrne is now out of this race. And Evan Byrne has pulled off on the front straight. I don't know if he made a mistake. And yes, he did. I think he went into the wall of champions. And so looking on board with Byrne, who was going to be pitting in a few laps as well. Oh, he got overtaken by now Tiernan actually coming into the chicane, and then went a little bit too wide and went into the wall. So unfortunately, Evan Byrne, really his own making. See, locked up a little bit coming into the chicane. Now Tiernan went through, and then Byrne himself went into the wall as his race over. So wow, what a dramatic ending to the Canadian Grand Prix we've had, really, in the second half of this race. We've still got 15 laps to go. Tomaselli now comes in to the pits, and oh, hold on a second, how's he going to get through here? He has got to get past the stricken cars and Campana. Oh, Tomaselli, is he stuck? Can he get through? And oh, he can get through, but he was held up for a fair bit there, and he's now going to be in 5th position. He's now going to be behind Roque, and so Tomaselli is going to be fuming. I don't think he would have been, I think he still would have been behind Roque anyway, had he not been held up by the manners. But Lean Campana is in the pits as well, and unfortunately looks like they haven't got the tyre for his front right wheel, so it looks like Lean Campana's race is over. But at this moment in time, George Roque is running in what's going to be his best finish of the season in 4th. Tomaselli, another very impressive performance in 5th, but he will be probably quite frustrated that he doesn't have 4th, but he could still easily close up on Roque at the end of the race. We've still got 14 laps to go, so you never know. Now here we are looking at Amar Kar going past now Tiernan, 6th place, who is actually pitting this lap for his final stop of the race. So as we look at now Tiernan coming into the pits, coming down the back straight, following the red car, and Gal himself, who's going to be pitting very soon too, he's going to relinquish, as you know, he won't relinquish third, sorry, because of course Tomaselli has pitted, so he looks like he's still going to be in third. Oh, there's contact there, and Moitin gets himself back past Willows for 11th position. This is just adding fuel to the fire of Willows. He is going to be very angry at how this race has played out, and actually he'll be even more angry because he has to pit as well. And he's now got the House of Roque behind, who's attempting to lap these two, but he'll finally get past Willis' pitting, and now he'll lap the Force India of Moitin, who's had a pretty torrid race, to be honest. But looking through the order at the moment it is a 1, 2, 3. It is in first position, it is Volker. Second position is Kar. Third is Gal. He's pitting, and I think he'll probably just about come out ahead of Roque in third. So Roque is in 4th. Tomaselli is still 5th. Sontag is an impressive 6th. Roberto Gamba is 7th, Franco Gamba is 8th, Parachki is 9th, and Tiravi now Tiernan is 10th. That is the order, with 11 laps to go, although this is the battle between the two cousins, Franco and Roberto Gamba, and Franco Gamba trying to get past his cousin, coming onto the back straight. He's in the slipstream. I think he's going to try and make a move coming into the final chicane. There's the pit call for Gal, who's coming into the pits, and it looks like Franco Gamba is going to go past his cousin Roberto into the chicane. Is he going to make it stick? And the answer is yes, he does. And Roberto Gamba trying to put up a fight, but unfortunately not managing to pull it off. So there we go. Gal, of course, being in the pits. The question is, would he come ahead of Roque? It was about 23 seconds the gap. I think that will probably be just about enough, I'd say. And if he doesn't, I'll be interested to see, obviously, him trying to get past Roque. Of course, Roque has held up Tomaselli for quite a bit of this race. And Gal comes out of the pits, and there we go. and not sure where Roke is. I think Gal has come out in front. I believe he has. Now here we are. This is the battle for 9th position. This is now Tiranen, who's all over the back of Enis Parachki in the battle for 9th. You see, look at all those positions, movements, all green and then some neutral. So now Tiranen is going to try and move up to 9th, so he can move up one position in the order, and he has. And Parachki actually locks up coming into the final chicane there, and now he's actually got the other full senior of Roland Moichin all over his back. So perhaps he could lose out on a point here if he's not careful. He's lost out on 2, could lose out on 1, he could get nothing. But here we are on the final lap of the race, and it is Florian Volker who is set to win the Canadian Grand Prix. I really thought it looked set to be Carr's victory, but after that, after Mackenzie pretty much caused the chaos with about a quarter of the race left to go, it all kind of shook things up. Willows got eliminated, which allowed Volker into second, and he managed to get ahead of Carr after his final stop, and he never really looked back. Was a surprise to say, but, well, not surprised, I suppose, not to say he's a winning, but I think a surprise that Volker was winning because of how things look set to be played out. Gap about 3.4 seconds, so he's got just slightly ahead of Carr, not that far ahead to be honest, but enough anyway. But Florian Volker is going to take victory here in Canada as he comes down the back straight for the final time, as he comes through into the final chicane, going past the Wall of Champions, where of course he is a part of because he is a champion. And Florian Volker comes around the chicane for the final time, and Florian Volker is going to win the Canadian Grand Prix here at Montreal. Well done to him. Amakar comes across the line in second position. He'll be pretty annoyed that I suppose he lost out the win the way he had. Sontag will come across the line in a very impressive 6th position. I think he'll be pretty chuffed with that one. Miglaskal will come home in a very lonely 3rd position, but I think he'll still be pretty happy with that to get 3rd out of this race. He comes around the final chicane. He'll have the Haas of, I believe that is Franco Gamma behind, who will come across the line in 7th. So another points finish for him. Good job by him. Not had a thrilling race, but as we look at Roberto Gamma defending from now Tiranen into the final chicane, and he looks like he'll keep 8th because now Tiranen got a terrible run. So Roberto Gamma will take 8th position just ahead of now Tiranen. I think Parachki is going to hold on for 10th just ahead of Moichin, and Roke takes a very impressive P4, his best result of the season. Tomaselli just behind him as well in P5. Willows also outside the points in P12. So there we go. Whew. That was quite an interesting end to the Canadian Grand Prix. We needed something to spice it up, and we did have it. And we did have it, as we have a yellow flag out on the circuit. And Tomaselli is finished, but he has crashed. I don't know what's happened to him. And this is well, Joseph Willows probably very frustrated about how he lost what looked like a certain podium going into the back of Tomaselli there, but Tomaselli won't care. He's P5 and Willows is P12. So there we go. We'll take a look at the final race results, with Florian Volker winning ahead of Armar Carr in 2nd, Miglaskal 3rd, George Roke in 4th, Palais and Tomaselli 5th, the last one on the lead lap, with Sontag, Franco Gamma, Roberto Gamma, Tuvien Turin and Enis Parachki completing the points in 10th. Roland Moichin just outside the points in 11th, as Joseph Willows had actually set the fastest lap of the race, as a matter of fact, a 1:12.1, so yeah, he has every right to be pretty cheesed off. The following cars not finishing this race: Evan Byrne, Lean Campana, Kirosima De Rosa, Etienne Jones, Jamie McKenzie, Laura Chung, Franco Lopez, Gabriel Gomez, Maxime Titkov, Angelo Hutter. So now we'll take a look at the driver standings and the constructor standings after what was a pretty dramatic end to the Canadian Grand Prix. And here it is. Armar Carr does take the lead from Franco Lopez by 7 points. Volker just 11 points behind in 3rd. Willows dropping back to 4th. Joel Hutter 5th. Gallon 6th. Franco Gamma 7th. Roland Moichin 8th. Tuvien Turin up to 9th ahead of De Rosa in 10th. Roke moving all the way up to 11th. He was nowhere before this race, but he moves all the way up to 11th position. Tomaselli moving up to 12th. Jamie McKenzie down to 13th. Sontag moving all the way up to 14th. Chung 15th. Byrne 16th. Gamba, Gomez, Parachki and Jones. And then the final 2 drivers who have not yet scored a point this season, those being Maxime Titkov and Lean Campana. So that is the driver standings. I will now take a look at the constructor standings after the Canadian Grand Prix. And Mercedes now move ahead of Ferrari by just 6 points. It is very close at the top of the standings. Red Bull on their own in 3rd position. Haas moving up into 4th, ahead of Force Senior in 5th. McLaren 6th. Renault 7th. Sauer moving above Torosso into 8th. Williams in 10th. And Manor having only scored 1 point in last position. So there we go, that was the Canadian Grand Prix, fairly interesting end to the race I have to say. I hope you guys enjoyed. The next round will be the first time we go to the Circuit Paul Ricard for the French Grand Prix, but this will also be the last race, or the last highlights video you see this year, as we will be taking a break for Christmas. Hope you guys enjoyed the OC during this year. It's been a very interesting year. Thanks for watching guys, have a Merry Christmas, and we'll see you next year.